So we will be getting started here. Again, thank you for joining us. First, I'd like to introduce you to the mayor of the city of Tempe, Mayor Corey Woods.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Tempe Mayor Corey Woods, and it really is fitting that we're here today at the Escalante Multi-Generational Center to talk about heat relief. This is one of our city's 10 cooling centers. Our community is committed to ensuring that everyone has a safe place to survive the summer heat and to help them get the resources that they need. Tempe's 10 cooling centers are just the beginning. There are centers like this throughout our state just to keep people comfortable. As we all know, during the months of July and August, many times the heat can get over 115 to sometimes even close to 120 degrees. So these kinds of places are imperative when you live here in the state of Arizona. And it's important to also note some of the important statistics. Last year, more than 900 people died from our state's record-breaking, long-lasting heat wave. But I'm honored here today to introduce Dr. Eugene Livar, our state's first chief heat officer. Dr. Livar has worked for the Arizona Department of Health Services for 12 years. He leads the work of the state's Extreme Heat Preparedness Plan, which was released by Governor Katie Hobbs this past March. Part of his work is to coordinate partnerships between organizations like the ones that you're going to see here today. Together, each and every one of us can save lives, and we can make a huge difference. So once again, Dr. Livar, really appreciate you joining us today, and I appreciate all the press for being here to commemorate this event. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Woods, and good morning. Thank you all for joining us in this celebration of Heat Awareness Week. As mentioned, brutal summer heat can have more than just unpleasant circumstances and outcomes. If you do not take precautions, extreme temperatures can cause illness and even death. That is why we acknowledge Arizona Heat Awareness Week from May 6th to the 10th. And the governor's heat proclamation just made it official. It's a chance to learn how to protect yourself and others from Arizona heat and sun. It's only May and we've already hit 100 degrees. A reminder of the intense summer we're likely to experience. We all stand before you today across multiple state agencies and community partnerships to let you know Arizona is prepared to keep you safe and informed this summer. This summer will mark the first time we are operating under a unified response plan, thanks to the governor's Extreme Heat Preparedness Plan. We are here to show appreciation and recognition to all heat partners across the state. Response to heat needs more than just the state, but from buy-in from all levels of communities across our state. The agencies represented today are just a piece of the puzzle. Last year, we experienced Arizona's hottest summer on record, as Mayor Woods mentioned. Sadly, more than 900 people lost their lives across the state. We don't want to see that happen again. We cannot control the heat, but we can control our preparation and response. And that's what we've been focusing on. We have diligently worked together with nearly 150 partners in public, nonprofit, and private sectors to implement best practices to help all Arizonans. This includes many projects I'm excited about that expand access to cooling centers, create solutions for rural areas and underserved communities, and expand access to critical resources like water, sunscreen, and food. We are confident this plan will put Arizona in a stronger position to reduce heat-related illnesses and deaths for years to come. This summer, our goal is to focus on 5 main areas: health, shelter, disaster response, energy, and budget. This collaboration and response is the definition of public health and how we show up for all of our communities within the state. Next, I'd like to introduce to you Director Marin Mahoney with the Governor's Office of Resiliency. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here to join us in Heat Awareness Week. Arizonans have long thrived in our hot, dry summers, but we also know that heat causes thousands of illnesses every year, as well as hundreds of deaths. Older adults, children, the unhoused, and people who work outside, people who work in agriculture and construction industries, they are all at higher risk of illness and heat death. And we can come together to prevent heat illness and death. And during heat season, please check on your elderly neighbors. Periodically, during the times of high heat, work with your child's school to increase awareness of heat risks for children. Donate to organizations who are serving those without stable, safe homes. Now is also a really good time to get your air conditioner checked. You can also contact your electric utility and get an home energy audit. This will have a professional will come into your home and identify the leaks in your house so that you can identify and implement cost-saving measures, and that will save you some money on your electric bill over this summer. If you're having trouble paying your electric bills, call your utility to work with them to work out a payment arrangement and to find out about resources that can help you. You can also call 211 for those types of resource information. As my colleagues, as Mayor Woods and Chief Heat Officer Dr. LeVar mentioned, last summer was our state's hottest summer on record, from Apache County to Yuma County. During that time, the need for immediate heat relief greatly increased, and it became apparent that a long-term plan was necessary and imperative, especially as we continue to face longer, hotter summers. Governor Hobbs directed her administration to work together across agencies to update and improve heat preparedness and response, and I was tasked with leading a cross-agency extreme heat preparedness plan. In March, we published that plan, which put into motion many of the interventions in the 2024 heat season. We're working with our local, county, and nonprofit partners to increase public awareness of the signs of heat and to increase resources available to cool down. For instance, the Hobbs administration is getting ready to deploy a number of new 18 solar-powered mobile cooling centers called cooltainers in locations throughout the state. We're doing a number of other interventions, but I'm being told to wrap up right now. So I just wanted to mention that Arizona is resilient and we can continue to thrive in our hot, dry climate by being aware of those heat risks and helping our fellow Arizonans stay safe in this heat. So thank you. And next, you will hear from Director Gabe Levine of the Division of Emergency Management in the Department of Emergency and Military Affairs. Thank you.
Well, good morning, and thank you for having me here today. As Marin mentioned, my name is Gabe Levine. I'm the Director of Emergency Management at the Department of Emergency and Military Affairs. Major General Muhlenbeck, who is the Director of DEMA, sends her regards. She was unable to make it today, so instead you're stuck with me. Would like to talk about how DEMA and emergency management supports heat response and preparedness throughout the state in the upcoming season. Primarily, our mission, though, is to support all hazards response in communities during times of disaster or emergencies, and we will continue to do that moving into the coming heat season. Our approach is through initiatives that are led by our local and state partners with state-level technical expertise and agency assistance, and through a coordinated framework. So things similar to the Governor Hobbs's heat preparedness plan that was previously mentioned, as well as the State Emergency Response and Recovery Plan and the National Recovery Framework. We continue to support preparedness efforts through information sharing and resource provision, as well as through numerous grant programs that we administer through the Department of Homeland Security and the Federal Emergency Management Agency. We will continue to stand ready to respond based off local jurisdictional needs and statewide assessments and needs moving into the coming heat season, and are proud to be partners with all the folks that you see up here today and many, many more. I'd like to now introduce and turn the floor over to the National Weather Service, Tom Frieders, who's the Warning Coordination Meteorologist for Arizona.
All right, good morning, everybody. In regards to the National Weather Service, our main mission is to provide weather, water, and climate information for the protection of life and property and enhancement of the national economy in an effort to protect our communities from the increasing dangers of extreme weather events. So as for heat, heat is the #1 weather-related killer, not only in Arizona, but across the entire country. That doesn't even include the thousands of heat illnesses as well. So not even across the country, heat kills more people than hurricanes, tornadoes, and floods combined. So that shows the seriousness of heat. So our year-round collaboration effort with our heat health partners is crucial to maintain and create communities that are ready, responsive, and resilient to the heat. So during the upcoming heat season, National Weather Service offices that serve Arizona will be providing updated information throughout the summer on the dangers of the heat ahead. We utilize excessive heat watches, warnings that are linked to a multi-tiered system, heat risk system that focus on the most dangerous major to extreme heat conditions. These are those heat levels that we see abnormally warm temperatures for any specific time of the year, and it extends over a longer period of time where there's little relief from the heat, increasing those dangers. It's those heat levels that are the most serious when it comes to the conditions that become the most serious that impact everyone in our community. And I want to stress everyone. So any one of us, it's not just the more less resilient folks out there. So right now we ask everyone to monitor the forecast as we progress through the summer. Check our latest forecast before venturing out. You can check forecasts on weather.gov on our website or through our social media. We're on Facebook and X. So we hope now is the time that people will join and understand the risks of heat and prepare for the threat before it is imminent. Thank you. So now let me introduce Dr. Shanika Noel with Pima County Health Department, Public Health Operations Deputy Director. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am here representing Pima County, the Pima County Climate Action Executive Team, and our newly created Office of Climate and Environmental Health Justice, which leads our health department's heat relief efforts. I am very excited to be standing here with the governor and partners who share the vision of a healthy, heat-resilient state. During extreme heat, our county communities become especially vulnerable. In 2023, heat-related incidents claimed 176 lives and caused 550 emergency care visits, with non-Hispanic American Indian or Alaskan Native individuals bearing the brunt of these strategies. This underscores the urgent need for action to safeguard our county population, especially our most vulnerable. Through a Pima County Joint Heat Action Team, we engage with community partners across jurisdictions to align our efforts with state agencies and weather authorities to optimize response strategies. From enhancing heat awareness training for county employees to integrating emergency response and forecasting technologies, our initiatives are driven by data and innovation. Looking ahead to the 2024 heat season, Pima County has developed a 3-year heat response strategic plan. In alignment with state and other organizations, we are harmonizing communication efforts with our jurisdictional and tribal partners and are leveraging data to drive decision-making. We will be launching a community-wide media campaign focused on heat awareness that will highlight our community's website as a comprehensive resource. We are grateful for the support of the state, other jurisdictions, and other community partnerships. Together, we forge a path towards comprehensive and inclusive heat resilience, standing united in our commitment to safeguarding the health and well-being of all residents of Pima County and the state of Arizona. Thank you so very much for your time. Now I would like to introduce Dr. Rebecca Sonnenschein. She is the Medical Director of Maricopa County Department of Public Health.
Good morning. Maricopa County has been working tirelessly with our partners in the Heat Relief Network to create the infrastructure needed for a centralized, coordinated, county-wide heat response driven by data. With support from the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, Public Health has identified nearly $4 million to expand evening and weekend hours of cooling and respite centers throughout the county, as well as staffing AZ-211 with 30 community health workers who can connect people to heat relief resources in English and Spanish. This includes locating cooling and respite centers, utility assistance, air conditioning repair and replacement, and much more. We ask each Maricopa County resident to do your part to prevent heat-related deaths. First, please know your risk. Anyone can experience heat illness or death, but people who are older, have chronic medical conditions, are experiencing homelessness, or use substances are at higher risk. Protect yourself by staying hydrated, avoiding the outdoors during the hottest parts of the day, and please don't rely on fans when it's hotter than 95 degrees. And when you can, please protect others by checking on neighbors and loved ones, especially those who are older or live alone. Make sure their air conditioning is turned on and functioning and that they're doing okay. Thank you for doing everything you can to prevent heat-related deaths. And now I'd like to introduce Amy St. Peter, the Deputy Executive Director of Maricopa Association of Governments.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the elected members and the elected leaders of the Maricopa Association of Governments, thank you so much for having us here. We fully support these coordinated heat relief efforts, and we look forward to playing an active role in their success. In 2005, MAG created the Regional Heat Relief Network in response to then unprecedented numbers of people dying from that summer's heat. Since then, we've been helping to rally volunteers and to organize the community's response to the heat. Today, Arizona is positioned better than ever to expand this critical work. Our partners throughout the state are stepping up to create the ongoing infrastructure needed to adequately protect our neighbors. This work is evolving. Our initial efforts focus on mapping the sites where people can give help and get help. That map is available today at azmag.gov. But today we're also mapping areas that are vulnerable to that summer heat, such as older adults and mobile home parks. This is helping us to be more strategic with how and where those limited resources are invested. What began as an ad hoc crisis response is evolving into one of the most sophisticated and data-driven systems in the world. Better data will lead to better decisions, and that will help us to save lives. Intervention efforts are also critical to keeping people safe from that summer's heat. The MAG Regional Council unanimously approved Pathways Home, the Regional Homelessness Action Plan for local and tribal governments. Based on the deep data analysis in that plan, one of the main action steps is to increase access to housing that is both safe and affordable. We support the governor in her focus in housing as prevention for heat-related deaths. Today, we stand in unity with the partners here and throughout Arizona as we collaboratively prepare for the summer's heat. Every single heat-related death is a life that could have been saved. We are committed to saving lives this summer and beyond. It's my pleasure now to introduce Dr. David Hondula with the City of Phoenix Heat Response and Mitigation Office. He is their director and a valued partner in these life-saving efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, for the introduction. Thank you all for being here. Thanks to the Governor's Office for convening this important discussion, and certainly thanks to our friends in the City of Tempe for their hospitality hosting us. I'm really proud to be here representing a highly motivated, energized, cross-departmental team at the City of Phoenix that's committed to the partnership that we've heard about today. Our planning efforts for this heat season began before last heat season even wrapped up. And this year in February, our City Council reviewed our heat response plan that has 39 different actions in it, many of which align with what we see in the plans from the Governor's Office. I did want to highlight one of the actions in that plan that we hope everyone is aware of. With support from the county and state, we've been able to extend the operating hours at 3 city cooling centers and provide overnight operating hours at another 2. Those facilities started operating this week, and we're already receiving positive feedback from guests that have been able to take advantage of those new resources. As we move forward, I'd like to stress that we are committed to the excellent collaboration with the partners here and many more, and give special acknowledgement to our internal city heat leadership team, which includes staff from emergency management and our communications office who are with us here today, as well as representatives from many other departments. It really does take a team effort to move this forward. Parks and Recreation, Fire, Human Services, and so many more. We have staff members who are jumping into new roles and trying to break the status quo to save more lives this summer. And another one of our team members who's trying to break that status quo and save more lives is Jessica Wright, the Human Services Manager from the City of Tempe. Please help us welcome her.
Thank you, and thank you all for being here. As Mayor Woods mentioned, the City of Tempe is so proud to be a part of the regional heat relief efforts and the statewide efforts. Through our 40 square miles, we're going to have 10 cooling centers. 6 of those cooling centers are city community centers. 4 of those are faith-based partners that are going to be part of our resiliency network. So we're excited again to be partnering with the Arizona Faith Network for this endeavor. This was made possible by funding through the Maricopa County Public Health Department. So we're excited to have Arizona Faith Network operating these 4 faith-based cooling centers for us. So beyond traditional cooling centers, we also have a mobile cooling center called Jenny's Trailer that our Hope Street outreach team for the city is going to be having throughout the city weekly to serve the community. Tempe is unique in having a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week phone line, the Care and Hope line, for people in our city that are experiencing homelessness or in need of mental health services to be able to reach out to get help. This phone line is a direct connection to the Hope Street outreach team, as well as our Care 7 mental health team, who spend most of their day responding to community requests for service, both in places like parks and any location that folks might be, including our cooling centers. So offering a variety of trusted community centers and spaces, like our community centers, our faith-based centers, and mobile cooling unit, are ways that we really support our individual needs of our community here in the City of Tempe. So in addition, Tempe's sustainability efforts include goals such as achieving a 25% tree and shade canopy by 2040, building resilient energy hubs, and integrating green infrastructure and green building design into future developments to guarantee that the city will be safe as temperatures rise. Now, all of our heat relief resources can be found at tempe.gov/heat relief. So thank you for your time, and with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Irene Rushton, our Community Resilience Manager with Arizona Faith Network.
Good morning. My name is Irene Rushdan, and I serve as the Community Resilience Program Manager with Arizona Faith Network, a faith-based interfaith network. People are dying. Arizona is getting hotter. Our neighbors are struggling. As people of faith, we have to act. That is why we here at Arizona Faith Network, with our extensive network of congregations, faith leaders, county and city leaders, and other community partners, work hard to establish heat respite centers in our faith-based spaces across Maricopa County to offer sanctuary during the scorching heat seasons. Our centers provide essential resources, including cooling and rest space, water, snacks, and access to wraparound services. Arizona Faith Network prioritizes inclusivity and safety, ensuring all individuals feel welcome and supported regardless of their background. We believe all people deserve dignity and a safe space to cool down. Last year, we saw over 25,000 visits in our heat respite centers throughout the heat season. This year, we anticipate seeing even higher numbers, but we are ready and prepared to do this. Thanks to Governor Hobbs and the Office of Resiliency, Maricopa County and Arizona State Public Health Departments, Arizona State University, the cities of Glendale, Tempe, and Phoenix, community partners, and our essential life-saving congregational partners, we stand ready to open over 10 heat relief centers throughout the valley to serve those seeking heat respite this year. While we acknowledge the urgency of keeping pace with the rapidly evolving climate and addressing the pressing needs of our communities, We remain steadfast in our belief that this diverse collaboration of partners both present here today and spread across state will propel us forward. We invite you to join in making a difference this summer by helping your neighbors. Get involved at ArizonaFaithNetwork.org and be a part of the solution. Thank you. And please help me welcome Josh Coddington, Arizona Office of Tourism, Director of Communications and PIO. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. The Arizona Office of Tourism is proud to be here today with all these great partners to help promote heat preparedness awareness. While the focus of this effort is mainly focused on our most vulnerable populations, as it should be, we also want to make sure that all Arizonans and our visitors get this message, because no one is immune from the impacts of extreme heat. And people love visiting Arizona. In 2022, 43.8 million people visited our state. And that is great for the economic impacts that it provides, but it also highlights the need for education and responsible tourism to those visitors. Additionally, 14 million people visited us during our hottest months of the year last year. And that highlights the need for an educational program such as the Extreme Heat Preparedness Plan to make sure all those visitors are safe and have a great time. So we want every single one of our visitors to have an enjoyable, safe experience when they're in Arizona, and that includes planning to travel during the summer. Some great examples of how to do that are, of course, avoiding extreme heat, always having water, choosing locations where you can recreate in the water, confining your own recreation to the morning hours, choosing indoor activities, or even visiting the cooler regions of the state. We know that an effort like this takes a huge level of collaboration to make sure that it gets out as far and as wide as possible, and that's why we're here today. So to help make sure that this message gets through to not only Arizonans, but also our visitors, we're sharing all the guidelines of this plan at our own site, azheatsafety.com. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Heidi Brown, Associate Professor of Public Health at the University of Arizona.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here today. The University of Arizona's mission as a land-grant and Hispanic-serving institution is to support adaptive problem solvers who will tackle our greatest challenges. Heat resilience is one of those challenges. As you all know, Arizona leads the way nationally in understanding and responding to heat, yet our state communities continue to be burdened by this climate hazard. In collaboration with cities and counties, health departments like Pima County Department of Health, ADHS, and partners like the City of Tucson, and stakeholders across Arizona, the UA and its faculty are working to support the state's planning efforts to heat. Research programs like the CDC-funded Building Resilience Against Climate Effects, or BRACE, has been supporting heat resilience and planning across the state for over 10 years. The NOAA-funded CLIMAS, Climate Assessment for the Southwest at the U of A, has been bringing together stakeholders and academics since 1998 to grow locally relevant climate knowledge. The newly funded NIH Southwest Center for Resilience and Climate Change and Health, also known as SCORCH, fosters regional climate expertise. And the DOE-funded Southwest Integrated Field Laboratory is advancing climate modeling, observations, and resilience solutions across our state and the urban corridor. All of these are synergistically supporting critical heat-related research and information for policymakers. At the Melanie Enid Zuckerman College of Public Health and across the university, we're engaging our students to ensure that our state's future workforce of public health professionals, planners, and public administrators are prepared for the increasing challenges of extreme heat. We're committed to remaining engaged to protecting our communities from the impacts of heat, and we're looking forward to our continued collaboration with the state of Arizona, its counties, cities, and stakeholders. And with that, I get to introduce our last speaker, Michelle Villegas Gold, who is at the Arizona State University, Assistant Vice President of Strategic Initiatives, ASU Health. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Arizona State University is grateful to help kick off Arizona Heat Awareness Week and would like to thank Governor Katie Hobbs, City of Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego, and City of Tempe Mayor Corey Woods for their leadership in raising awareness around heat safety. Whether you chose to live in the desert or were born here, we are all in this together, which means if one of us is suffering from extreme heat, we all are. But we are not all suffering equally because temperature is not the only factor tied to heat risk. Our age, the medications we take, the conditions in which we live and work, and our pre-existing health issues and comorbidities all increase our risk of experiencing heat-related illness and death. With a deep commitment to improving health outcomes in Arizona, ASU Health will train clinicians, public health practitioners, and other health professionals to leverage data and human-centered technologies to prevent and treat heat-related harms. Additionally, with over 30 subject matter experts focused on heat, like Dr. Hondula, who you heard from recently, ASU is working across fields and sectors to conduct use-inspired research, co-create sustainable place-based solutions, and inform policy at the local and federal levels. For example, we recently convened experts and provided recommendations to improve the way we collect, share, and use public health data on extreme heat to make it more accessible and actionable. We are leveraging technologies like Andy, a thermal sweaty mannequin that mimics how our bodies respond to heat, and Marty, a mobile biometeorological station to measure extreme temperatures. We are improving Arizona's built environment by collaborating with municipalities and ADOT to implement and assess the impact of new road surfaces and cooler pavements, increase access to shade, identify cool corridors, and coat buildings and even water fountains with innovative cooling materials. And because ASU supports learners across the lifespan, we are working with school systems to protect school-age children by creating heat-safe schools. Arizona is without a doubt disproportionately impacted by extreme heat, but this also uniquely positions us to lead the nation, advancing strategies that promote heat adaptation and resiliency. But this is only possible if we work together. ASU looks forward to working with all of you to care for the communities that we collectively serve and build a safer and more resilient tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. And with that, we'd like to start the question and answer portion of this. We're giving 5 minutes for these questions. Right there where the microphone is where the media is able to stand so we can hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Is it turned on?
Sound good?
Okay. I'm Anita Snow from the Associated Press. Hi, Nadia.
Hi.
I have two questions. One for, I guess, emergency management officials or perhaps even Dr. Hondula. But the first question is, I'm wondering what happened with efforts to get FEMA money for extreme heat, to have extreme heat recognized. I know Kate Gallego was involved a lot in that effort, and perhaps the state. And the other question I had would be for the National Weather Service, is whatever happened with efforts to start naming heat waves in a way to bring more attention to that as a weather problem.
All right, so the first question is in regards to FEMA funds. Maren, are you able to please take that?
So regarding the declaration or the request to have heat be accepted as a part of a declaration for FEMA funds, first, my understanding is that it's actually not necessary. It is within the realm of acceptable disasters, if you will, currently. But it would be helpful to have it explicitly declared to provide certainty for policymakers and for people who might be applying for those funds. So, but there are also some things that could be changed when it comes to internal administration of FEMA funds. So, for instance, heat in and of itself currently isn't, there's not a lot of accounting that goes into identifying how much money, let me restart. So right now, a lot of heat disasters, there's not a lot of expenses that we're aware of currently that would rise to that threshold. And so we are advocating for changes in terms of FEMA accepting cascading incidents. So we know that there was extreme heat, and then there was also a microburst of a tornado in, I believe it was Mesa at one point. And so we could have, if you add in those two cascading events, then that would rise to the level of disaster that would be eligible for those FEMA funds. But that conversation is absolutely ongoing right now. We were in DC not too long ago talking to FEMA officials, talking to other federal agencies to better update their approach to heat as a disaster. And so that, I think, one of the key, impacts of the governor's extreme heat plan is that we're drawing national attention now and a better understanding and questions, actually, and interest from federal agencies and states across the country. How is Arizona approaching heat, and what are the real needs, and how to really address those, what are the resources that can address those needs? So, Gabe, I don't know if you have any questions or any additional comments.
So I think my name's Gabe Levine. I'm the Director of Emergency Management for the state of Arizona. So I think when we talk about emergency declarations, it's in funding through the federal public assistance program or the state public assistance program or the federal individual assistance program. Understand that the way that those are currently structured is a threshold system based off of damages that are assessed within the local community. And those pay out a portion of those damages. And those damages are typically physical damages to publicly owned assets and infrastructure, as well as what it would be considered above and beyond normal operating expenses for personnel and services, which, if you boil that down, comes down to overtime expenses. So that's a very oversimplification of a very nuanced, complicated program. However, when you talk about heat, what's important for our communities for us to be able to access those federal funds is we need to be able to quantify the impacts in the construct of the current system. So there are some initiatives to look at Stafford Act reform, and it's a very I hate to say a hot topic because it's a little punny, but it is a topic of discussion within the national level emergency management community about how do we modify and update and evolve some of the existing federal and state programs to better meet the needs of our communities as they pertain to the developing disaster landscape. So hopefully that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Yeah, Nicole Grigg with ABC 15. I don't know if the state or the county wants to take this. This was only briefly addressed by all of you about ACs and making sure people have air conditioning. One of the most alarming statistics last summer was the fact that 156 people died indoors with broken or no AC in Maricopa County. That's nearly double from the year before. So does there need to be more urgency in that messaging about air conditionings as we have a platform right here to inform people?
The question is about ACs. Dr. LeVar, can you handle this one?
Dr. Sunshine had a response from
the local
level, and I'm happy to step in.
Okay. Dr. Sonnenschein, please.
So yeah, Dr. Sonnenschein, just curious, do we need more urgency around that specific messaging?
So thank you for that. I think it's really important to acknowledge individuals who are dying indoors. And what we see is that the vast majority of them actually have air conditioning, but it's either not functioning or not turned on. And this effort honestly really does take the entire community. So I don't want to accept credit for any piece of this, other than that there are a lot of philanthropic organizations, nonprofit and community organizations that have identified additional funding for air conditioning repair and replacement this coming heat season. Maricopa County also has their own programs. And all of that information, and I want to say municipalities have their own programs, but there's a lot of different components to it. And that's really the importance of having a centralized coordinated call center in Maricopa County, so that if people call AZ 211 in Maricopa County, they will have lists of all the different programs for which people can qualify for either utility assistance, air conditioning replacement, or air conditioning repair. And that is an important service that they provide. And we would encourage anybody who either loses air conditioning function or needs assistance with air conditioning replacement to please call AZ 211. Thank you.
And then I can ask my second question for the state funds.
Okay, thank you. So that concludes the question and answer portion. However, there will be time after this to ask any questions you have individually to any of the wonderful state and local partners we have here. So with that, I'd like to please introduce Mary Mahoney. She's the director of the Governor's Office of Resiliency.
I'm going to close us all out. So thank you to Mayor Woods and Escalante Community Center and all of our partners today for raising awareness about the dangers of heat exposure. Arizonans and everything that Arizonans can do to protect themselves and their neighbors against heat illness and death. And thank you, all of you, for coming here today. The media is an important partner in raising heat awareness. We've spent this time showing how from the state level, the Hobbs administration, our partners at the county and the municipal levels, and also our nonprofit sector, how we're all working together to prepare for this heat season in the more immediate term, as well as a much longer term viewpoint. This is a complex issue, and we're all going to need to have a sustained focus on this for our future. And the media is a really important partner in this as well. So working together, we can all decrease heat illness and improve outcomes for all Arizonans. And thank you for coming today.